As Thornton, there's something that's really getting to me today. It's been getting to me for a while and I need to say something. I want to talk about the amount of coaching scams out there. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about coaches who are scamming people who are coming to them for coaching services. I'm sure that exists. There's good and bad in all professions, in all trades. I particularly want to talk today about the coaches who are scamming other coaches. I'm seeing this more and more. Over the years, I've had so many people come to me for help and support who have paid into some scheme they've been sold, usually online, and it's by someone who claims to be this big coaching guru, and they promise to be able to teach them, train them to be a coach, and train them on how to create a decent income generating business through coaching. One of these I've heard about even promised people that within the first 6 months they'd be earning £4,000 a month. Now, generic business sense tells me that's BS. Sorry guys, hard-hitting truth coming. Get ready for this truth bomb. For the majority of people setting up their own business, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. Let me say that again. 3 to 5 years before you start turning a decent profit. That doesn't mean before you start making any money. Oh, no. But before you start turning a decent profit, getting lots and lots of extra cash coming in that you can see as your wages. So anybody telling you that if you just swipe your credit card here, they will be able to guarantee you have thousands of dollars coming in within the first few months is spinning you a line. You know that age-old adage, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. This is too good to be true, and it's a load of old baloney. So I really, please be aware of this. I currently have another 2 people on my books who've come to me for support after this. Both of them have been sold a similar lie. And when they've gone back to the people in charge of the program and asked for help or said, this isn't working, I'm doing everything that you're telling me, but it's still not working. I'm still scratching down the back of the sofa for loose change. I've spent all of my money with you. All of my reserves have gone on you. And now we're months in and I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage or my rent next month. I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids. The answer is always the same. They will always be told they're doing something wrong. They're not putting in enough effort or they're not following the blueprint properly. The blueprint is broken. It's not true. And when I dig a little bit deeper, and to be clear, this has been the same with pretty much every person I have helped who's been trapped by one of these schemes. When I say, well, what proof did you have? They'll tell me about usually a Facebook group that has thousands of members in it, and they're all rallying to the banner and massive acolytes for this great coaching guru who promises them everything, promises them that the streets are paved with gold. And I'll say, well, where's the proof? And they'll say, well, they'll show us people who've done it. And let's say, I don't know, let's pick a number out of thin air. Let's say this Facebook group has, say, 4,000 members in it. And I'll say something like, well, of those 4,000 members, how many people are they wheeling out? And they'll say it's always the same 2 or 3 people. Well, doesn't that tell you something? Does that not ring little alarm bells? And I get it. When you first buy into these, you're so desperate to serve. You want to help people. You want to be the best that you can be. And of course you want to be making a decent income quickly. You've maybe quit your job off the back of this, or you've convinced your friends and your family and your partner that you're worth it and that you can do this and that you can make a good money doing it. You can make a good return doing this. They've put their faith in you. So of course you want to be able to show them that you're doing something, that you've invested your hard-earned cash into something to show that you'll be able to get a return on that investment. Unfortunately, it's this level of desperation and hope and a desire to serve, and dare I say, a little bit of new business gullibility that these sharks prey on. And nobody stops to think. They just see a thriving community with thousands of people in it, and they see their examples of people who've made it. Scratch the surface with the people who've made it. Let's give an example here. Some of the people I've been told about who are being shown as the examples, when you look at what they're doing, they've already got a solid audience base before they've gone into this coach training program. They've already had people to go to. Let's say, I don't know, let me make something up. Let's say It's somebody who used to be in a massive IT company, part of a massive IT conglomerate, and they've decided they want to set up on their own, coaching people in how to set up their own IT businesses. They've already got an audience of all those people that they used to be working with and connected to in that massive IT organization. Their success is not coming directly from that organization. It won't be. Sam here essentially Googles every coach and checks them on Company's House. It's a good starting point. They're not all going to show up there, and Company's House will only ever show you so much. What I would say is, if you want to check out these coaches, check their testimonials, but don't just look at the LinkedIn deep testimonials. Ask them, can I speak to some of your current and past trainees? And ask them the real questions. How much did you pay? How much effort have you been putting in? Have you followed everything they've taught you to the letter? How much are you making now? And if they can say that that program has been such a success, they shouldn't have anything to hide. In fact, they should be proud to shout from the rafters how successful it has been. But if they just keep showing you these same 2 or 3 success stories, it's like some of the network marketing companies. And again, I've got a lot of time for network marketing companies. I've done a lot of work with them. I've coached a lot of them. I've spoken for some of them. But there's no point thinking, oh, I've got a couple of hours a week to put into doing this. But then looking at somebody who's got the Mini or the BMW and expecting you're going to be at that stage within a couple of months. It's not going to happen. It takes a hard graft. Katie's saying you make a really valid point. Yep, absolutely. Totally. Maybe 15 to 20 out of 100 come out of that program successfully. And I would also say, Katie, what's the definition of successfully? What does that even mean? Mahmood, sharks would not be my word to describe snake oil salesmen, scammers. Yeah, absolutely. Completely with you. This profession is absolutely beset by scammers. Now, there's another kind of scammer as well. And I was talking to my PR, Fiona Scott, about this today. Go look up her LinkedIn and look at what she's been talking about over the past couple of days. She actually replied to somebody on social media who was another one of these scammers, who was telling everyone that they just need to buy into that program and they'll tell them how to do everything. And you don't need to do any PR. You don't need to do any social media. You don't need to build your presence. You can just magically make 10K months very easily without promoting yourself. It's rubbish. And due diligence, that's exactly where it is, Mahmood. Due diligence is so important. But people need to understand what to do with due diligence. You see, for a lot of people going into this, they will think that the examples these sharks give and the fact that they've got thousands in their Facebook groups is due diligence enough. It's not. Fiona challenged this particular scammer and said, well, hold on, you're essentially dissing everything I do for a living. Fiona's my PR, and I know it is important to build your brand and to build your PR and to build your marketing. You need to do that. You absolutely need to do that. And this person came back and argued the toss. And guess what they told them? This is an age-old technique. It's a broken methodology. It's the one the network marketing companies were pushing in the 1980s. And if anybody is still pushing this methodology now, honestly, run a mile. She said that because lots of people, when they first set up in business, they have so many plates to spin. They have so much to do. They don't have the capacity to do everything that's needed to quickly build a business. And so what they need to do is heavily rely on and pressure their friends, their family, and their network and get them to buy into their business. I'm sorry, but WTF? Really? I can count on the fingers of one hand how many of my friends and family I have charged for my business services. I didn't want to go out and start calling all those people who might feel obligated to give me money, and none of you should feel obligated to do that. How would you feel if one of your family members or a friend set up a business and then they started spamming you left, right, and centre, trying to get you to buy into their new cause? No. Great big fat no. If anybody tells you to do that, run a mile as well. What's Katie say? Their answer to people who weren't seeing the promised results was, well, you're obviously not working hard enough. Absolute classic bull dust. Please don't buy into this. And let me just say one final thing before I sign off. The other massive scam going around at the moment is people promising, and again, they're still preying on the kind of The coaches and the service industries, people who are flogging these too good to be true, get a best-selling book deal. I know about writing and publishing books. I used to work for a book publishing company. I've written 2 of my own books. I've contributed to lots of others. I've just bought the rights back to one of my own books because I didn't like the way I was being treated by my publisher. My wife, Asha, is a book editor and helps people to get their books published as well. So I know this industry inside out. And I'm seeing lots of them who build big, shiny websites that look a lot like big old style American squeeze pages, telling people they are the best in the business and telling people that they will get them a bestseller. And all they need to do is give them their thousands of pounds and then they'll publish their book and they'll put them into strategy groups and put them into little clusters of people who can help them along the way. Does it work? Yes. But if somebody tells you they're the best in the business when it comes to publishing, and you look at their authors and you've never heard of them, well, that says something. If they tell you they're the best in the business and you just need to swipe your credit card here because, look, our team have written hundreds of books, go and look at those team members. And if they tell you, if you can see that their books are only available on Amazon and Kindle, I can tell you in the majority of cases, they are essentially conning you into paying for a self-publishing program. What they're doing is paying you to push your words through their services, and they will then just self-publish your book on Amazon and on Kindle. They're probably only using the Amazon ISBN codes as well. If you want your book to be able to be sold outside of Amazon, you need a proper ISBN. You need the one you pay for. You need your book to be registered with Nielsen's. You need to put the legwork into making sure you're promoting that book with the publishing companies as well, and with Waterstones and Foils. Even this one, before I bought the rights back, I push it big style through Amazon because, who wouldn't? But you can also get it from Waterstones, from Foils, from Book Depository, from Blackwell's, from all good booksellers. And if they are telling you that they're the best in the business, but they're just going to push it out through Amazon, please run a mile. Please run a mile. Please run a mile. You know who the best in the business are. If you want a proper book publisher, you know who the best in the business are. They'll be the ones where you scan your bookshelves and you look at the spines on your books. They're the Hodders, they're the Penguins, they're the Hayes, loads of them. But go and look at the spines on the books you have in your own house. Do not buy into one of these programs where they tell you they're one of the best publishers in the world, but you've never heard of them before, and all of their books are only available on Amazon. Please beware. All of these people are sharks, and they are preying on the service industries. They're preying on people who are coaches, who want to get their word out to the world, who want to be of service to other people. And because we're so desperate to help people, we're buying into it. Danielle saying the American style websites, don't get me started. Yeah, Danielle will be seeing that a lot in their industry as well. Absolutely. So Black Nova Designs, look them up too. Awesome when it comes to web services. There are some really good people on this. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's commented so far as well. This is something that I feel so passionately about. Genuinely, I could weep when I hear some of the stories of the people, the good people who are being ripped off in this way. And the trouble is that's then their first taste of what it means to be a professional coach and how to brand build. And it's wiping out their finances. They're burning themselves out in the meantime, wondering why they're not being successful. And because they're not being successful in the way they're being told they should be, they think they've failed. Because of these sharks, not only are people being scammed out of thousands and thousands of pounds and dollars, but people who would otherwise be really good coaches and really of service in a world that needs more good, honest service providers, they're burning out and believing they have failed before they've even got past the starting block. So please, of course, yes, I train people, I coach people, hands up. But if you want to check anything out, please drop me a line. Me and my team we will be happy to just go and have a look and give you our gut feel. We won't try and get you to buy into our stuff. We're here if you want to, of course, but that's not what this is about. This is about me as a coach who serves a lot of other coaches, who serves people across lots of industries, actually, seeing people being needlessly burned. Have I ever been ripped off? Yeah, I got really, really burned at an event a few years back where I fell for one of those run to the back of the room schemes. You can find it on my blog. You know, you can find out how I've been scammed in the past, and I learned a lot through it. But this latest lot of people who are promising to deliver you thousands of pounds worth of income or a best-selling book. If they're promising you a best-selling book, by the way, 9 times out of 10, the way they will do that is get your book onto Amazon, make sure they've picked a really, really tiny niche for your book to be part of, and then perhaps have a special offer day where they drop your book right down to 99p or a penny and get everybody to buy it on that day, so that it creates a faux rise, so it rockets your book in that tiny niche on that one day, and that's how you'll get your bestseller. And remember, there's a big difference between an Amazon bestseller and a New York Times bestseller. Both of mine are Amazon bestsellers. Frankly, if I wrote a book and put it on Amazon and it didn't get to bestseller rank, even for a couple of seconds, I'd feel like I'd failed. So please don't buy into the BS. Please shop around. Please look further than the big white teeth and shiny suits and no personality. Please look further than the shiny websites. Please look further than the people who are very clearly their acolytes. Look for proof, look for evidence, and tune in with your gut. Don't just swipe your credit card there and then. Take a few days, let things settle, check in. How does this feel in my gut? They might be massaging my ego, but how does it feel in my gut? Don't get burned. If I can help, drop me a line. My team and I will always help and give you a steer, regardless of whether you're working with us, just because we are so passionate about this profession, about the service industries, just not being ripped off. Because God knows, people, we need you right now. I hope that's helped. Take care. Lots of love.